All right, my friends, it's just a Josh rant. Amazon is raising their minimum wage to $15 an hour. Wow, 350,000 employees are going to get minimum wages up to $15 an hour. We should all be grateful to Jeff Bezos and bow down before his wonderful generosity and blah, 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 blah. Why does this infuriates me, actually. And this is nothing. Well, it's financial planning. It's more economic-based financial planning than your personal retirement plan. I don't give Jeff Bezos any credibility whatsoever for this. And the reason I don't is simple. There's a part two to his wonderful generosity here of raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour. The part two is, you know what they're going to do? They're going to demand Congress make sure the minimum wage is raised to $15 an hour as well. Imagine that, a corporation, a big corporation trying to eliminate its competition. So that Jeff Bezos, with all their billions of dollars and all their assets to own the Washington Post, and this is a rant, so take it as you will, is going to get up there and lobby Congress to do what Jeff Bezos did, which is raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. How the hell can mom and pop Joe Schmo down here pay $15 an hour just because Jeff Bezos can? What that infuriates me, the idea that some rich guy is going to get his freaking dirty, greedy paws into Congress and tell these Congress people who are all in there for money that, hey, we want to raise the minimum wage too because we want to look like we care for the poor. You're not caring for the poor by driving mom and pop business out of business. It's insane. That's the lady, whatever her name is, ACO, Alexandria Ocasio something, who's running as a Democratic, what the hell, in New York. She went back to her restaurant where she's a bartender, and it turns out the restaurant is going out of business. Why? Because the number one expense for small business is labor cost. And when you're going to freaking pin a minimum wage on your competitors, as Jeff Bezos is trying to do, and now your competitors can't pay it, guess what happens to competition? It goes out of business. And guess what happens to you? Now you've reined in more monopolistic powers and you can do whatever you want. And now you can go back to Congress and say, hey, let's raise the minimum wage to $20 an hour because essentially there's only a couple people left standing. And that means we can eliminate our competition and even do whatever we want. This is bad. This act, if they want to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, man, I got no problem with that whatsoever. I'm a capitalist. I'm a libertarian. In some ways, I'm the old school anarchist, which is let the people do whatever the hell they want. I don't care. But if they're going to do it, and then they're going to turn around and lobby Congress to mandate minimum wages, I'm telling you, man, you should be infuriated because the backbone of this country is mom and pop businesses. That's what it is. Yes, I hear all the time that most of the jobs created by small business. But I mean, and at the end of the day, the vast majority of people don't work for small business. The vast majority of people work for big business. I get that. And that's a problem because what these big box companies are doing, and I just went to Lowe's. I got no problem going to Lowe's or Walmart or something like that. But they're hurting the Main Street economy. They're hurting the small business mom and dad who are trying to start a shop, be it a dry cleaner, be it a donut shop, be it something like that, who are trying to get, and we need, I'm just telling you right now, one of my passions in self-sufficiency is the idea of going back to community where you're going to your local guy, your local lady for dry cleaning, for donuts, for plumbing, for all this, as opposed to just going to a big box retailer and having everything through the funnels of a Jeff Bezos or Warren Buffett or something like that. Small business, I'm just telling you, this is the problem with why I'm telling you, manufacturing, one of the big negatives of why when we started getting rid of manufacturing is we're driving small businesses out. And now when everything, and I'm just telling you, if you want to go try to get a LPT, I'm drawing a large power transmission system, you got to import that sucker from Germany through China because we don't have the steel, we don't have the aluminum, we don't have the technology in the United States to re-implement our LPTs here. So we got to send all that stuff overseas to some of our maybe not so friendly people. This is what happens when we start exporting all of our manufacturing. This is also what happens when the big businesses come in, the Jeff Bezos of the world, the Walmarts of the world, and start hammering the little guy. It's not good. I'm telling you. And Frank, I don't care if Jeff Bezos want to, give up some of his wealth to give to his employees, man, more power to him. I love him for that. That's a wonderful, honorable thing to do. Should not be doing it on the back of the Congress saying we want Congress to regulate other people's ability to pay what is duly free. I have a free enterprise ability to go and negotiate a salary with you as my employer, and you have a free enterprise ability to say, I'm not going to pay you more than $12 an hour. Who the hell is Congress to go in there and say you should pay $25 an hour? What? Since when has Congress ever created a job? And that ticks me off. It does. And look, I don't care. Again, you see something like that. Two things going on here. He knows there's a small populism rising, Jeff Bezos, and these big corporate banks and stuff like that. They see it. They know what's going on. That a lot of people from the left and right are saying, wait a second. The spread of wealth inequality isn't good. They get all these rich guys, and I'm talking to a lady today she can't barely squeak by, her and her husband. But you got Jeff Bezos of the world way up here, and I don't care. He can be rich all day long, but he's way up here. But the majority of people are way down here. Medicare premiums go up, all that stuff, and Jeff Bezos doesn't affect him. So what does he do to keep the pitchforks at bay? He says we're going to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour for all of our 350,000 people. So those 350,000 people are then going to turn around and tell their families, oh, Jeff Bezos is so great, blah, blah, blah. But then they're going to go to Congress and lobby to say, hey, you need to pay your employees as well $15 an hour. And the employees who are the small business who employs 10 to 15 people say, I don't have that resource. I don't have enough profit to be able to pay some guy $15 an hour when we have a duly agreed upon agreement to pay him $12 an hour. It's wrong. And I know what he's doing. So he wants the workers' party and whatever it is in New York City, and all these guys are $15 an hour, flip burgers at McDonald's. I know what he's doing. He's trying to keep those people at bay, Jeff Bezos is. And he's going to get the Washington Post to advocate for him that Jeff Bezos is a wonderful man because he's raising his wages $15 an hour. He's going to, that's just, if you see what's going on here, is frustrating to no end. It's bad, and that's why I just had to get on his rant, because he's going to have the media singing his praises for the Washington Post, how good Jeff Bezos is, and everybody should do the $15 an hour. And if you can't do it, Mr. Electrician, with your 3 or 4 helpers, we're going to mandate it or else we're going to make it illegal for you to be in business through the power of Congress. I'm telling you, it's just not right. And if he wants to do it, more power to him. I'm just telling you right now, you can see where this is going to go, and I guarantee Jeff Bezos will be starting to fund a lot of money to the rabble-rousers who like to protest in front of businesses who don't like the idea of being forced wage mandates, because they said, I don't have the resources to pay these people $15 an hour, Jeff. You do, but I don't. So what you're doing is you're going to put me out of business, which means more and more people are going to be unemployed, which means more and more people are going to what? They want to go to work for Jeff Bezos, or they're going to go on the government dole. That's not good for a free society. That's bad. And Jeff Bezos will sit there with the Washington Post writing op-eds saying, oh, it's so great, so great. He's such a good guy. I don't like it. So anyway, just had to get off this rant because it ticks me off. And I know what's happening here. He's trying to keep the pitchforks with the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, those people at bay. I get that. He doesn't want them guys saying, hey, if they take over Congress, they're gonna mandate bad things. 100% get what he's doing here. 100% get the Washington Post will sing his praises. But when you start mandating Congress to tell a small business person what they have to pay their employees who have a mutually agreed upon agreement, no one's forcing out a gun to you go work for that electrician or you go work for that donut shop maker. No one's forcing you to do that. You can do it on your own free will, or better yet, you can only start your own business. But the idea, if I got to hire somebody, my little heritage wealth planning firm, I got paying $15 an hour. I say, well, where's that money come from? What does that mean? I don't have it. I got to raise wages. All right. Well, what if I can't compete because now my wages are my costs to do business are too high? It's not good, man. All right. Well, that's all I want to say. Just had to get that rant off my head. So I hope you find this interesting. Minimum wage, my friend, is the biggest form of discrimination there possibly could be. There's no, and that's what they use to keep in Jim Crow South, to keep the blacks at bay. That's what they're using now to keep the government to say for the big companies to regulate and reduce the competition for the small companies. The minimum wage is the worst thing. I'm just telling even some of the guys on the left, Joseph Stiglitz and whatnot, They'd even say that too. They said minimum wage is the worst thing you can possibly have because you're basically mandating prices, and businesses who aren't cash flow positive cannot afford those prices, and there's no alternative for them. And thus, if you're a new guy coming to work and you're like, man, I just got to learn a skill, so I'm going to go learn some plumbing with this guy over here. I don't know anything about plumbing. The only thing I know is how to separate a PVC pipe. And you're going to say, the guy said, I got to pay you $15 an hour. I need you to have some skill set. I don't have any skill set. Well, I can't afford you to learn on my $15 an hour, so I can't pay you. It's just not good. All right, so I'll do some more videos later. We'll see you guys. Bye-bye.